Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. You know that expression, you're insulting my intelligence? And that is when you make a point and you make it so flimsy that you think I'm not going to catch you, that your point or your argument is really shaky and has a very low IQ point because you think I'm low IQ. And that is insulting your intelligence, basically. So it seems that it seems like Ukraine is insulting our intelligence with telling us what to see and how to interpret whatever we are told to look at. In this case, they talk about, and that's called gaslighting. When you say, no, this is a pair of glasses, and they say, no, Emil, that's not a pair of glasses. Wow, that's a bicycle, see? It's a bicycle, right here. Okay, I got it. And you say, no, yes, Emil. So what happens? If you remember, Ukraine talks about the counteroffensive. Well, if you didn't know, the counteroffensive is already on, is ongoing, okay, is underway. According to Ukraine's Deputy Minister of Defense, she claims that actually it started and is going to be, and I think it started, but I think it's impotent. But hey, let's read this article and see how they, what kind of arguments they're going to bring to us in order for us to understand that actually the counteroffensive is right there. All right, let's see. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda. It is from today, Wednesday, April 19th. Ukraine's Deputy Minister of Defense states counteroffensive actions are underway in eastern Ukraine. Yes, probably they've always been. And she calls those counteroffensive actions Ukraine's attempts to fend or to push the Russians back from their attacks. So that means resisting, defending yourself. That's a counteroffensive. You could see it that way. So, Hanna Maliar, Ukraine's Deputy Minister of Defense, says the counteroffensive should not be boiled down to particular large-scale advances and dates. That's true, but usually when you say counteroffensive that you say is going to be the mother of all counteroffensive, we look at it that way, because it was you, when I'm talking about you, I'm talking about your government, saying that the counteroffensive will cut Zaporozhye and that would isolate Crimea from being supplied by the mainland route. So, you said it, and you said it's going to be the mother of all this counteroffensive. It was not the Russians, it was you. So now, because it seems like you're not going to be able to do it, or you're going to postpone it for about a few months if you're still going to be a country, then you say, well, actually, the counteroffensive has been on for, 12 months now, or something, or more than that. So let's go back and see how she's going to reason. So, the official notes, it is a variety of measures and certain counteroffensive actions of the armed forces of Ukraine that are already taking place in eastern Ukraine. Okay. Source Maliar said this on air during the national 24/7 news broadcast, and I'm quoting, we shouldn't publicly boil down the counteroffensive to particular large-scale advances. Okay. Why? Because you can't do it. Now you change the definition, I guess. Because we are talking about the strategic goal of the armed forces of Ukraine to free all our territories. Yes, that's true. But it seems to me you just changed the definition of whatever you said before. We aim at freeing our territory and stopping the enemy in their advances. Correct. And this is what you call counteroffensive, stopping the enemy. You'll see. Because I looked over this article a little bit, so I wanted to understand what the hell she's talking about. That is, to speak of a counteroffensive, now she gives us her definition, in such a narrow manner, is what we have to understand out of it, is not right. Okay, thank you very much, you said so. So, speaking of the counteroffensive in such narrow manner that you provided, baby doll, is not right. Okay, because you say so. Okay. It is a colossal variety of actions and measures done by the armed forces. So it's a complexity of actions that I don't think we can understand, you and I, my friends. It is first and foremost the preparation of personnel for a number of actions, both offensive and defensive. That's correct. But all of this together, if we were to speak of our strategic goal, can be called counteroffensive actions. All right. Well, I think we know what a counteroffensive means. I don't think her definition will change our perception and notion and what that means. You want to look at the counteroffensive? Like, look, for instance, in the Second World War, a definition like counteroffensive, and not only that. You want to look at the counteroffensive? Look, for instance, in Ardennes. That was the last counteroffensive that the Germans tried to push back the American, Canadian, and British forces. You remember the Battle of the Bulge and all that in the Ardennes with the tanks, with what's his name? I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, that's a counteroffensive. You want to think about another one? Look at Stalingrad. Now that was a counteroffensive. All right, the last part of Stalingrad, breaking it and so on. So you can give me whatever weasel definitions you want to give me, calling this and that and this and that. Yeah, those are parts of preparatory for the counteroffensive. It's a counteroffensive. Yeah, it has a lot of preparatory steps and all that. But eventually, you want to see that they push that, guys. It's an offensive that would push gradually everybody. That's why when they talk about the Russians' offensive being a failure because they don't advance at the pace that a counteroffensive would advance, right? They immediately use the perceived notion of a counteroffensive, right? Well, they didn't push, they didn't mow the Ukrainians. It's a failed counteroffensive. Now, if the Russians would have come with the same definition, no, we're doing slowly, in small increments. We prepare, we organize. Do you think that these guys would have said, yeah, okay, they're weasels, man. And they are weasels if they come with this kind of new definition, a new washed up definition of counteroffensive. So Maliar, don't insult our intelligence, okay? Or you can try. Let's see what else is here. This includes preparation of personnel and creation of reserves, outlining the tactics, all right, plan A, B, and C, because there cannot be just one action plan, as the enemy is reacting as well. So now she's just, baby, these are details, okay? The definition is still the one that you and I know we have it. We have to understand that such decisions are taken in a very short period of time, not 1 or 2 months. Well, yes and no, all right? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So telling us that we have to understand that you are right, no, I don't have to understand that you are right. I would disagree with that. All right, and not that I disagree with all of it. I think you're just making a little weasel point, and I'm not going to take that route. The plan is finally selected in such a way that the enemy cannot react to it. Or yeah, okay. You have to understand. No, I don't have to understand. It's like I'm a child. You have to understand. Okay, tell me, teacher Maliar, that the armed forces of Ukraine today are not prepared for a particular line of action, but rather for a full-scale liberation of our territory, not just counteroffensive. Okay, blah, 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 blah. All right. According to Maliar, the armed forces are not discussing the counteroffensive plans publicly or even amongst each other. They're not talking about amongst each other. They keep it secret, so then how do they plan? They don't talk to one another. Zelensky doesn't talk to Zaluzny, and nobody talks to nobody. Hey, I think each guy goes to the bathroom and I'm going to plan this counteroffensive. And the other one goes to the bathroom and sits there on the toilet. Do I plan this counteroffensive? That's how they plan. They don't talk to one another. Please, I mean, come on. So anyway, yes, they are. Even according to the Russians, the Ukrainians try some little counteroffensive attacks in Bakhmut, especially. I covered it yesterday in giving the update from the Ukraine front in that video. And the Russians reported that in Bakhmut, the Ukrainians tried some counteroffensive actions over there to liberate or, create a corridor again for the guys which are almost trapped in Bakhmut. Yes, that's a counteroffensive over there, but it's a of counteroffensive on a micro scale, not macro, micro. All right, micro, small, macro, big. All right, those Greeks, right? That we love. I do. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.